So, I don't know. Hey, this is Anthony Terrell, by the way. Here's my What Would Jesus Do bracelet. I picked up in Tampa. Some little care package that somebody tossed aside. It had some stuff in it, you know. And I had this, and this is all I've got left from it right here. Perhaps you're wondering why I have a wedding ring on. Well, keep on wondering. That's what she said. She said whatever she wants to say it is. That's what she said, and that's what it'll be, I guess. So keep on wondering. Hey, listen. Remember that phrase back in the 80s? It was real popular. They say, hey, somebody say something, and they say, hey, yeah, that's what she said. Google it, maybe it'll pop up if you're not familiar with it. It's like the meme of the day. Or was it the 90s at this point? I think it was 80s, late 80s. Hey, listen. I think we need to have a long, or at least a drawn out, somewhat integral, discussions about this nuclear thing going on. I don't think we just want to cover it all in just one setting. I think we just want to keep talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. And you people want to start talking about it. Anytime you're ready to start talking about it, I really ought to go and look and see on YouTube who's talking about it right now, except for the people who say they can put nukes out and nuke this and nuke that and shit. Ain't a damn thing you're gonna do about it as regular folk like me, just an ordinary kind of guy, or what I call myself, what I refer to myself as, an average kind of guy. Yeah, an average kind of guy, average Joe. I don't call shots that says we're gonna go nuclear and shit like that, or we're not gonna go nuclear, or we're gonna go to war with the entire goddamn nation like Russia did with Ukraine. So that's what we do, right? We just sit around and it's like, or go out there and say, hey man, don't do this and don't do that, and throw ourselves in front of a goddamn tank or some shit as the tank says, get out of the way, and they don't get out of the way, and somebody gets out and gets you out of the way, puts some handcuffs on you, and drags your militant ass to jail and locks you up. But maybe several talks, about these things. Nuclear. That's what Putin's talking about right now. I'm going to go look and see exactly what he's talking about. He's talking about an exercise. I don't know, what is an exercise? That could mean anything. Right now you have either zero or a very low percentage of women and children in Ukraine. What makes you think he gives a shit about going nuclear on Ukraine at this point? If I were Putin and I were in his shoes, I'd disintegrate I'd disintegrate Ukraine right now at this point and just wipe them out and say that's that. Except for Putin was invested in the people as well as the land initially. I really don't think Putin really wanted to hurt the people at all. He sees them as he saw them, he probably still sees them as his brethren. Part of his nation that went astray. And now he wants to bring them on back into the fold. But I mean, they're over there with NATO conspiring against him. That's how he feels about it. He literally said, "You're conspiring against me, You lost your way, Ukraine. Now I'm trying to bring you back in and help you out, and you got the Western people influencing you and shit now." So maybe, if I were in his shoes, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It'd certainly be an option. I'd be like, well, let's end this right here, right now, since, that's going to be a problem. There's no fucking women. There's no children out here. There's less on your head about what the hell you did. Like it was in, was it Hiroshima or Hiroshima? How do you pronounce it? Hiroshima? Hiroshima, like it was in Hiroshima. Anyway, maybe we should have several talks about this and keep on talking about it as long as this war draws out. Just talk about the war and bone up on what's going on and stay abreast of what's going on as far as what we know that's out there in the open. All kind of shit's going on. All kind of shit's taking place. Whatever you hear, you best believe there's so much more stuff going on besides what you hear, as you well know. If you hear that Putin's talking about some nuclear exercise, then compound that by 10 at least. fold of what he's capable of, or what's possible. That's what I would do. That's what I do. Because that's out there for the general population to hear. So I don't know exactly what that means. What does that entail? It could mean all kinds of things. An exercise that this guy that I put on the playlist up there, talking about Putin will get jiggy with it, says that Putin says the whole world should fear, or will fear. So I don't know what we're gonna do, but we need a pact between Putin, all the major hitters out there, North Korea, America, that no women, no children are gonna be involved in this war. We already had 16-year-olds in Ukraine, which by American standards are considered quite so youthful that they're still considered to be children, out there staying back in Ukraine and fighting in that war. They're not 16 any longer. That's about 5 years ago. But the rules change when shit gets heavy like that, right? But anyway, we gotta have a global understanding, no matter how bad it gets, how fearful we get, so on and so forth, that no women and no children, technical children, whatever becomes the international standard for children, are not harmed in it. And that is just, if men want to get bucked and men have to resolve their issues, that women and children are not harmed in the process, which would include nuclear bombing of some place other than Ukraine, because I'm pretty sure they have about 0 children and 0 women pretty much in Ukraine right now. So I don't think Putin's so worked up about going over there, or Russia, it's not just all Putin deciding these things, so worked up about bombing, nuking these people. So you might not want to get your ass out there on that field and act like you got some kind of leeway going with Russia right now, and you have no women and no children out there to make them say, oh, I don't know. So that's something to think about. So you probably, it can get technical, because maybe what you want to do is get all the guys on a common field and say let the men go out here and hash it out without the nuclear stuff. But if they get enough of you out there on that field, and at one time you might want to parcel out how much you put out there, how many guys you put out there. You don't want to get all your eggs in one basket. He's sitting around salivating and think, yeah, I got most of the NATO out here on this damn field right now, or a good bit of them. Boom, and have his men haul out of there, just take them out as well. Who knows how that shit can go. But you got to think about all kind of things. But I'm thinking right now, maybe there's investment in talking, certain installments of talking about these things and keeping abreast with as they go on, as it takes place and unfolds. First thing, my position is, as men, we should resolve that no women and no children are caught up in this, to the point where it's like as much as we can possibly make it that way. Because they're not really investing in it like you are, you know what I mean? Women don't want to do this shit. They don't want this shit. Why did Hiroshima? That happened to a bunch of women that's sitting back with their babies and their grandbabies and all the rest of it, just like, what the fuck is this shit? It's an atrocity. Civilians like that, when they're females and not involved in it. And the kids as well, But maybe an investment installment of talks, I think every man in the world should get on board with that. What do you think?